This is a tweet from Mike Davis, former co-host of the Dale Jr. Download. It would seem, and this is just me spitballing, a lesson was not learned. Take a wild guess at who Mike Davis might have been talking about right here. I think everybody knows the answer, right?
Bobby Hill.
Not Bobby Hill. There's another Hill. There's actually another Austin Hill.
Austin Hill.
Not Austin J. Hill. The Austin Hill that was suspended.
Yeah.
Following Indianapolis.
That one.
Yes. Feel bad for Austin J. Hill, man. I don't know if you've seen some of his Facebook comments that he's gotten. I think some fans are just searching Austin Hill. Maybe they find his page by mistake. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah,
doesn't he have on his door the Austin Hill, the real Austin Hill, the actual Austin Hill?
Yeah, it's of all the drivers to have this issue with here. This is an unfortunate timing for the young Austin J. Hill trying to break in here on these road course races. Glad to see that he made this race. Of course, I was there at Sonoma when he was the lone DNQ. So good to see him get a little bit of redemption here and a solid top 20 finish. I mean, given the equipment that he's driving, it's a great result for him. But we have to talk about the Austin Hill that drives for RCR, obviously. And again, I think we do have to, because it's the talk of the town right now. And I got to say, I think this is why I told you guys, if you want to do the show Monday, this needs to be addressed sooner rather than later. I was fine to let you guys take it if you so wanted, but I think it's good we don't do these. It's good I'm not on the watch-alongs with our friend Josh Birch and Matthew Owens here. It's good we don't do these recaps tonight of these races, because, and again, I'm going to try to remain as professional as I can here, and I'm not going to go like over the top sensationalist or anything here, but I feel like kind of taking a victory lap, because as I followed up with a tweet after the show from 2 weeks ago, a year-long, 365-day-long suspension would be unprecedented. But in his first race back, to hear Austin Hill in the pre-race show, when asked, does this change how you're going to race others and change what your driving style is going to be? And for him to say absolutely not, for him to, I guess, triple down, quadruple down, I don't know how many times he's stood his ground here on saying that he is innocent and that it was not intentional, when we all saw. And by the way, people making such a big deal about the white gloves, if you slow the video down, you can see his helmet turn as well. He turns his entire helmet, he turns his gloves to the left well after his car has been corrected. I mean, there's no way around it. I'm sorry. It was 110% an intentional right rear hook of Eric Almirola. On Saturday, this particular incident with Michael McDowell, which Michael driving the colleague 11 car, see him ended up down there in 25th. The reason he's not lower is because it took out so many cars with him. Two of them were racing, I believe, for second at the time. And coming out of turn 5, the track limits conversation, I think, brought up again as well this weekend. Certainly not as blatantly intentional of a hook as we saw at Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago, but still reckless enough that a driver of Austin Hill's experience and, quite frankly, talent and skill level, I think it's another tragedy in all this, because I think Austin Hill does have talent as a race car driver. We've seen him perform well in this level, in this series. He should know better, particularly when you're under a microscope in your first race back from a suspension that I think the consensus is now overwhelming was not long enough. One race was not harsh enough of a punishment for what he did. And again, I know that if you look at this incident in isolation, you could maybe say it leans on the side of racing incident, but we all know who was primarily at fault here. And again, Austin Hill is not stupid. He should know that this is an area of the track where the spotter's view is limited, that pulling a move like that at such a high speed part of a track is incredibly reckless and incredibly dangerous. And I think it puts NASCAR in a difficult situation here coming off of what we saw 2 weeks ago. Now, I think last time we got the penalty announcement on Tuesday evening. It's sometimes Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday when these things get announced. I haven't heard anything one way or the other today, so I would assume that at this point, unless we hear something tomorrow, that he's going to be in the clear here for the next race. But it puts NASCAR, I think, in an incredibly difficult situation because you see people now lobbying for him to be suspended again. I know Matthew Owens on Josh's channel during their watch along said that right away. He should be suspended again. And then Seth Eves, and said what I said last week: 365 days, not a 3-race suspension, not a 5-race suspension, not a suspension for the rest of a year. Suspend him for a calendar year. And I don't think there would be very many broken hearts in our fan base if NASCAR came down and dropped the hammer like that at this moment. So again, that's really all I have to say here. I could continue to spitball for, the next half hour, how I feel about Austin Hill's driving standards, or perhaps lack thereof at this point. But I can't help but feel a little bit of vindication for what I said a couple of weeks ago, because I think it's the overwhelming view in this fan base right now. I think Austin Hill by a mile is the least popular driver in the sport right now, and I think he needs to take a serious look in the mirror. Even if we give him the benefit of a doubt, which, by the way, he has absolutely no benefit of a doubt left at this point, because even Indianapolis, was not an isolated incident. We talked about that 2 weeks ago as well. You look at the carnage, you look at the end result. I think they said 16 cars in total, the largest wreck in Xfinity Series history at Watkins Glen. He can't be doing that. And again, even if he doesn't get suspended, even with the loss of all his playoff points and the suspension that he got last week, or after the last incident in Indianapolis, rather, again, Mike Davis hit the nail right on the head. A lesson was not learned, and I think that is objective.
Yeah, I thought you were a little extreme 2 weeks ago, but no more. This silences all the doubters, and you were right to have that stance 2 weeks ago come to as we can see now. Yeah, if this was any other sport, he'd be watching from home for a very long time. So I mean, what makes us any different? I mean, we're auto racing. That's what makes us different. But so, I mean, even more responsibility to get him out of the series as soon as possible, and for much longer than ever set before. Full calendar year, and let him come back, and then ask him, are you going to drive differently? Because you can see it in his face. You can see it by the way the gloves, the helmet, and then here at Watkins Glen, the way that he treats Michael McDowell there coming out through the very dangerous chute right there, where you said there's not much spotter activity to see. And also just going for a 0% or very low percentage move there outside of track boundaries, going back into the guardrail. I mean, you're threading the eye of the needle already being in that position. You're not making a pass right there. Just, hold it off. Wait till you get into 6 and 7. That's where everybody else makes their pass attempt. I would have been much more. I would have felt more Austin Hill sympathy if he had just dumped him in turn 6 or 7 than try to do something like that. Looking back, and really, I'm sad too, because Austin Hill has shown us, Ben, on this show, how talented he is at some of these bigger tracks, and finding a way to get it done. He has been very talented. But yeah, he's going to get someone seriously injured one day if this trend continues. And there's been some close calls here, but I think that's a close call too many. It's time to bench your player and let him be out for a year. Again, it is kind of, to me, it is kind of sad, because I see it kind of feels like it's not from your age group, I guess, a few years younger than me. This is his crash out. For some reason or another, he's crashing out big time right now. And I can't figure out why, but he's a talented driver. I don't know why he's racing like this.
Yeah, well, and again, it's not just the incidents. It's how he's, and we saw it. I brought up the pit road incident with Maya Snyder, and the frankly pathetic notes app apology. Totally crafted. I mean, he didn't even take out the quotation marks.
Yeah.
I really shouldn't laugh because it was
RCRPR was like, here, tweet this.
He didn't even. You can't write this stuff. He literally could not write his own stuff. You can't write this stuff. You can't write anything that's happened with this guy over the last several years. Like I said, it is not a one-time incident or a two-time incident on back-to-back weeks. He just, it would be laughable if it weren't so dangerous. And that's the other part of this. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. Eric Almirola hit a part of the track that did not have a safer barrier. Michael, I mean, we've seen bad wrecks there before. Michael McDowell's had a bad wreck there before. I think everybody's mind flashed back to 2014 when he was in the Levine car in the Cup Series. And the awful accident he had there. We saw it a few years before that with Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, and Sam Hornish Jr. That is a part of a track that is very high speed, that has virtually no, that the spotters have virtually no access to. I mean, we're not messing around here. And by the way, even if we had safer barriers, we shouldn't be messing around like that. This is, as we have been reminded, and I certainly want to give my we're getting into the Truck Series segment in just a moment here, but want to send my best to Stuart Friesen. I know you guys have been doing that all throughout the Grid Network shows in the time that I've been away here. Certainly want to echo what everybody's said here. Thank the Lord, Stuart Friesen is not more seriously injured than he was, and we wish him a full and fast recovery, so we can see him back in a truck sooner rather than later. But that was a wake-up call and a reminder to everybody that this is an inherently dangerous sport, and you cannot be playing games like that when you are racing at 180 miles an hour. Not that they were up to that speed coming out of turn 5 at the Glen, but at a track like Indianapolis or anywhere, somebody gets hit at the perfect angle at the wrong way. You just never know. And again, I think I don't expect NASCAR to issue such an unprecedented suspension or punishment, but I have to say I will be, I think at minimum at this point, based on precedent that we've seen in the past, I think he needs to be sat out for the next 3 races. And quite honestly, I'm going to be pretty disappointed if we don't get a penalty report within the next 24 hours or so, because like I said, and again, I'm trying to, I should note once again, I've never met or interviewed Austin Hill. I can't speak to how he is, when the cameras aren't rolling, but just from what I have seen over the years as he's made his name in this series, he is easily the most unlikable driver in the sport right now, and it's not particularly close because we've seen it time and time again on the track, off the track, and then his inability to show remorse, how he's reacted, how he responded on the radio to NASCAR 2 weeks ago. It's just, I'm reminded of what I think Truex said about Hocevar banging the steering wheel at Phoenix a couple of years ago. It's all just an act. And I'm sick and tired of it. So again,
some of the comments on the comments on the CW video of this wreck are as follows. Austin Hill really said, "Dynaco's all mine." Austin Hill is a joke. That's the most favorited. And the second most favorited is the only thing that unites NASCAR fans is our collective hatred of Austin Hill. That's how the fan base feels on that particular official video.
Yeah,
Sample size.
Yeah, and again, and I'm sorry for laughing there. The Dynaco's all mine. It's amusing, but it's also not, because that's a kids movie that's referencing, and this is the second highest level of stock car racing in the world. And
Dynaco is all his. He drives for Richard Childress. I mean, you're on the up and up, man. Why are you smashing into people? I don't get it.
Well, to be fair, Brandon, they are just blue collar team, and NASCAR has been known to give them trouble all the time. So that's at least that's
what we got Richmond coming up this weekend. Don't get me started on that.
Oh, don't. Oh, Oh,
I
and
just
then
unlocked a new gear.
and how poetic was it that Austin Dillon was his replacement for the one race that he? I mean,
Yeah.
you really cannot make it up sometimes. Yeah, it's that's unfortunate, but we will leave it there. We've got more races to cover here, and I hope. And again, I would love nothing more than for Austin Hill to take that look in the mirror and seriously consider the implications of what he's done and change his ways. And if he's willing to show a serious commitment to that, I think we've seen it with other individuals in this sport in the past. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some hard work and genuine effort, but I don't think it's beyond the point of no return yet. If he continues going like this, then maybe he gets to that point. But he's down to his last strike. To use a baseball analogy there. Let's put it that way.
Please don't hurt anybody, please.
Exactly.
Just change it now.
Yeah, in or out of the race car, because we've seen that again as well.